Okay, so on a previous video I had tested the 2205 2300 kV Gartt motors, and now I only paid $35 for this set. You can pick them up for around 40 something dollars for the set. Just depends if you offer. They seem to be pretty good. I actually put them on a tricopter and been flying them around a little bit with that tricopter, and they perform pretty well in the thrust stand. Over, about 900 grams of thrust on I think it's 5x4 King Kong prop, which is not the most efficient prop in the world either. The spacings on the magnets seem to be done real well. The windings in there are hand wound. It looks like they're not exactly all perfectly straight and stuff like that. I mean, for a cheap motor, this does pretty good. One negative I've noticed about these leads are good, but these ends here are tinned, and instead of soldering them on in here from the magnet wire, they just extended the magnet wire that was wrapped all the way out here. So when you go to cut this back, if you were to cut it back where the ESC goes right on, just like that, and you cut this part off, okay, and then you strip back, you have all this magnet wire in here. And this magnet wire, you have to really sand or whatever, you get the nickel plating off, or I'm sorry, not nickel, but enamel, I guess it would be, plating off of there, so you can tin it up to solder it down on the ESC. Anyways, get our little gram meter out here. We're gonna pair it against this one here. This is a Gartt 2205 2300 kV, but this is their more expensive one. I don't know if it's their race edition or what, but it looks kind of like a lot like some of the DYS motors and stuff like that's coming out. Anyways, I'm going to thrust stand that too. So let's just weigh in comparison. Remember, this short wires on here. 31 grams. And remember, this one has a little bit longer wires. 35 grams. This is a little bit heavier motor. This motor here, let's get this out of the way here. We were noticing, I had a friend that was looking at it, magnet spacing's not exactly perfect on this, but I mean, it shouldn't kill the motor. Another thing I noticed too is that this is a hollow shaft, so it's supposed to be saving weight, which is kind of interesting that it's heavier than this one, right? Anyways, so let's put it on the thrust stand and find out how well these performs. Okay, so I'm going to run this ESC here. This is ZTW Polars, or whatever they call them. Anyways, it's a 35 amp ESC. It's running BLS 4-cell supports. That's what I'm running as a 4-cell battery. It's a little bit bigger, but I use this for all my testings on all the ESCs. This one's fully charged, so got grams on there. The thrust. Let's see here now. So there's our voltage, amperage, and wattage. So let's see here. Okay, so that was the King Kong prop I just shot with. It was a 5x4 non-bull nose, and this is a pretty floppy prop. I mean, anyways, what I'm going to use next here is a 5x4 5, and it is the diatone prop. So it's bull nose, but this is the normal prop setups I test usually with these two props. I don't go into elaborate prop testing with motors because you're going to change everything. Anyways, let's see what this thing produces. Oh, overheating the ESC there. Okay, so I'm back, and I got a 30 amp little B ESC, and I just quick tested it just real quick to see if the motor would spin it, and it does just fine, right direction. Anyways, let's get on to checking this out here. Make sure I can get this to get in the picture here. Okay. I seen what was that? 37 amps, and I've seen 1200 grams of thrust out of this motor. Okay, so I just had on the thrust stand here the Gartt motor, and is the QE2205, so 2300 kV motor, and I just had it on the thrust stand, and I got on this little B, it looked like almost 1200 grams of thrust at 30 point something amps, somewhere around there. Anyways, it really put out the power with that 5x4 or 5 bullnose diatone prop. I'm pretty impressed with that for this size motor. Now the ZTW ESC, which is their 35 amp ESC, did not do near as well. It started shimmering out at like 20 amps or something like that. It just could not handle that massive weight of the prop. Anyways, not a bad ESC. I don't judge this ESC. I mean, it's not a bad one, but the little B just held through and beat it up. I mean, all over the place. Anyways, this motor here, it's a little heavier than this Gartt motor. Which one would you buy, I guess, right? This one's heavier and probably has a better build feel to it, but I don't know how long the bearings are going to last, if the bearings are about the same. And this one seems to have bigger bearings on it. This is just the standard setup. Anyways, this is lighter, but, you know, I run them on my tricopter, and happy flying.